This is Mehdi from Mehdi's View. Mehdi's View from the pot. I call it, I've started calling it Mehdi's View, as is indicated by my self-made in like, I don't know, 5 minute logo. Um, of Mehdi's View from the pot. It's not to say that I am actually in the act and looking at my phone, speaking to you whilst in the act. However, for most of us, assuming again a huge blanket assumption here that most of us actually indulge ourselves with the phone, with our phones, when you're sitting and doing your business. So here's my view from the pot. So today is a quick review of how I've managed a full day of moderate to high usage of my phone. So mostly, phone calls, a lot of screen on, text reading, flipboards, and your Feedlys and your XDA app and all your news feeds. So I've done that most of the day today. Needless to say, I had some time in my hands, and so therefore the screen was on for quite some time, and then there was this time little later on. It's night time now from wherever I'm doing this. There was this time when I was visiting our new soon to be open studio in the night, and since it's work in progress right now, it's a construction site. I had to use the flashlight of my phone for quite some time. Music was playing behind the scenes, so therefore a lot of emails being written today. So pretty moderate to high usage, I must say, of the phone, and how I managed to squeeze out. I'm charging it at the moment, but when I started this review, when I started started charging the phone, it was 19%. So therefore, quite a long usage for I think about 14 hours today. So just quickly, this particular review is mostly of what I've done to my phone. Most of the people will call it fairly novice, sort of fairly mundane sort of tweaks. Some of the noobs that are out there might benefit from this. So I thought I'll just give it a shot and show what I've done. Mostly three apps that I relied on: the Greenify app, the Amplify app, and the ROM Toolbox Pro. So the Greenify and Amplify are kind of like the modules out of Exposed framework. So I use the Exposed framework to use those modules. I'm running, this is what I'm running right now. So I'll just quickly show you, bring it down a notch. Settings, go down, about phone. In that, I am on the nightly Cyanogen Mod 12.1. It was the 6th of June version. So there you go. That's the kernel. The build was Friday, June the 5th. See, that's the build name. So that's what I'm using. I initially used to do we used to flash the nightly, the nightly ROMs from Cyanogen Mod, but I tend to not do it anymore. If I kind of like I'm into a particular nightly and that sort of works for me. Like right now, this is working really fine for me. So I tend to stick with it unless there's something major that goes wrong after an extended period of usage, and I really need to sort of flash it. Up until now, it hasn't. I haven't faced anything. It's been. I had this downloaded quite a while ago, and I had to reflash my ROM about a couple of days ago. So I've been using it for like 3 days now. The battery tweaks sort of started kicking in. The benefits of it, the advantages of it started kicking in, I think yesterday. So it takes about a day for the tweaks to sort of kick in, and you'll see the benefits. So give it a shot. Give yourself 24 to 48 hours, and that's when you'll see the so the benefits of these tweaks. So quickly getting into it, going into my Amplify app. In that, so the Amplify app, what I basically use it for, and I think what it is mainly for, is to stop the wake locks, or to have a control on the wake locks that that the operating that the ROM tends to make. So just quickly getting into the settings, wake locks. So what Amplify does is it has three categories of what you've limited. So this is basically the top part is what you've limited the how have you limited the applications from waking up, right? When the screen is off, or whenever, even if the screen is on, a lot of applications tend to use the processing power of the phone to either, I don't know, connect to their servers, or get notifications here and there, or for example, the Google check-in service. It just quickly goes and checks in your account details, or something like that. So some of the things that actually, most of the things that you really do not need on an ongoing basis, so you can actually lock it, not allow the system to wake up, and therefore save the battery when the screen is off, save the battery when the screen is on. So the Amplify app has three major categories. One is limited, is something that you've limited, these applications or tasks to be, to not wake up, or give it a specific amount of time frame for it to, re-wake up. Safe to limit is what Amplify looks into your activities and processes and says, okay, these are the list of processes that are safe to limit. And unknown are basically the apps that are, apps or tasks or processes that that are unknown for Amplify to basically recommend to us whether or not to limit it. So it's up to you to make a conscious decision to lock, to stop the wake locks from from any of these unknown. But mostly the safe to limit is a pretty long list, from which, based on Amplify's recommendation, I've stopped the wake lock, for a specified amount of time. So most of these that you see under limited were there under safe to limit. So once you press on a task or a process, for example, this one, starting alert service. So if I click on that, so it brings up this page where you can actually enable it, and it says by default it's 240 seconds. You can basically change it to how many ever seconds that you think this application should not wake up. I tend to, for most of the applications like my audio streaming and whatnot, when my Facebook or any of the stuff that I know off the top of my head that I know that I would not require them to wake up in 240 seconds, I just add another zero to it, so 2,400 seconds. So I just do not, I can control when those applications can wake up. So for now, I really don't know this, so I'm not going to do that, but I'm going to quickly go up here, just select one of them. Icing, it was there in the 7, in the safe to limit. So I click on that, and as you can see on the left hand side here, it actually says the number of times this particular application or task or process has been woken up, which is 713 times, which is a lot. I do not want my phone or this application to use my battery to be able to wake up that long for the thing that I really don't know what it does. So therefore, I've put a lock on it, and then I've made it 2,400 seconds. So similarly, you can do it for the rest of them, right here. So word of advice: just stick to the applications that are listed under the safe to limit, and then for each one of them, you can give a specified amount of time for it to be locked. I just add another 2400 seconds. Honestly, I really don't know how long should I be putting it to sleep. Therefore, I just added another 0 to the default 240 and wanted to see what happens. 2 days of usage, I haven't seen any issue with my phone's usage. The way the ROM works, or the way each of the application works within the phone. So I think 2400 for me is okay. It could very well be 4800, but I didn't go that far. So 2400 works for me. 14 hours and still had 20% battery. So I think this was this just worked fine for me. This was a brute force sort of method, test and trial sort of method, and 2400 sort of works for me. Please go ahead and try whatever number works for you, and do let me know in the comments what actually works, and how much more longer the battery has sustained for you. So this was Amplify. Another application that I wanted to talk about was Greenify. If I can just go up to G, yeah, Greenify. Greenify was one of the applications that I really love. So what it does, it basically hibernates an application and does not allow it to do any sort of processing. Application that that do not need any processing power, any battery usage, any network connection, that when it's not required. When that, for example, Amazon shopping, why would I need Amazon shopping to be to wake up or to do any sort of processing whilst I'm actually not within the app? Similarly, a ticket booking application, Book My Show, Crichton. I mean, that is a set of icons. Just an icon pack. Why would I need to do that? Currency, I don't need. Facebook, no, I really don't need Facebook. Notifications, I know I love Facebook from the bottom of my heart. However, I do not need those many people, need to know how many people liked my comment or liked the picture that I posted, or any other thing. I mean, like twice or 3 or 4 times a day, I just quickly check in, just try and see what's happening. And then that's mostly my usage. Feel free to remove it from this list, but it really works for me. Feedly, why would I need anything for Feedly to go and fetch anything from their servers, if I'm not actually using the app? So, this goes on to say for the rest of the items that are here, the rest of the apps that I've put here. So this really works for me. I think between Greenify and Amplify, those are 2 major apps that I use to limit the processes that are working and or reaching out to the external servers, or using my network, and therefore have a huge effect on my battery drain. One other application that I talked about was ROM Toolbox. All I did was I basically used a few CPU profiles. So I just quickly go here, performance, CPU control, and then go into CPU profiles. So I added 4 profiles: charging, screen off, how much processing power would the phone require when it is charging, how much processing power would the phone require when the screen off, when the battery is less than 15%, and when the screen is on. As you might have guessed, when the phone is charging, and that's mostly in the night when you're asleep, I don't need a lot of processing power, to go on. So I've just limited that. So minimum was 300 megahertz. My phone is over the 1+1. Therefore, it can go up. The processing power, the maximum frequency can go up to 2.4 gigahertz. However, whilst the phone is charging, I've limited to 1.5 gigahertz, which is 1,574 megahertz. And the governor was on demand. Similarly, when the screen is off, this is the most important. When the screen is off, the screen is off. You don't need much processing power to be able to, for the processors within whichever process is working behind the scenes to be able to take up all that all that processing power. Therefore, I've limited it to 1.1 gigahertz, so 1190 megahertz, and again the lower end of the spectrum is 300 megahertz. Again, governor on demand. When the battery is less than 15%, this is the time I really want to, conserve battery if I'm not anywhere close to my power pack or, my charging station. I've limited it to, again, 1.5 gigahertz. When the screen is on, I want full power. I do not want to sacrifice any of my processing power. I have a brilliant phone. I want to use it to the maximum potential. Therefore, I've had it on screen on as complete, 2.5. So the higher end is the highest, the lower end is the lowest. So the entire processing power is available when the screen is on, and the governor is interactive. So 3 major tweaks: 1, Amplify; 2, Greenify; and 3, the ROM Toolbox. Between these 3, I get a lot of increased battering power. And one tool that I use to actually to look at these settings and see whether or not things are working for me is the battery stats, better battery stats. For example, for some reason, this is the companion app. It should have worked. For some reason, it doesn't work. But I'll get into that when I get into that. But battery stats sort of shows me how much deep sleep my phone gets into. So that's more important to me. The longer the deep sleep when the screen is off, the better it is from a battery usage perspective. When you're not charging and when the phone is out and the screen is off, the amount of deep sleep that the phone goes into, that is gold in terms of mobile technology. So these 3 apps that I use to be able to get more battery life out of my OnePlus One. Again, as before, I really appreciate the I think it's gone up to 8 or 9 subscribers from my Mehdi's View from the Pot channel, YouTube. So really appreciate that, gentlemen. Unfortunately, there are no ladies. I would love to have more women, there from a more, equality perspective. Yes, I need to have both sides of the story mentioned, especially in the comments. So please get on board, on my channel. And feel free to share this. Very important. And if you need me to look into something else that you think is bothering you, because I tend to do a lot of research. I have some time these days on my hand for reasons. There are some reasons. Let's just put it that way. And I'd be more than happy to do it for you and post a video for all of us to benefit from, if at all these videos benefit. So please feel free to share, like, subscribe, or comment for my video. Really appreciate them, folks, and you have a good one. Until next time, cheers.